Welcome to our YouTube channel. In this video we'll be discussing the Indigenous Voice to Parliament and the message from Australia's Solicitor General, which says it won't clog the courts or slow down decision-making from the executive. The proposed constitutional amendment would establish a body to represent Indigenous Australians, with the power to make representations to the executive government. That power has been a central concern of critics who claimed it could impede decision-making and cause excess court cases. But Stephen Donoghue, Australia's Solicitor General, has released a legal opinion that says the proposed amendment would not pose any threat to the system of representative and responsible government and would actually serve to enhance it. He states that the Voice would not impose any obligations upon the executive to follow the Voice's representations, or even to consult it before making policy or decisions. The Attorney General, Mark Dreyfus, has released Donoghue's opinion as a submission to the parliamentary inquiry probing the referendum. It says that the power to make representations to the executive government doesn't impose any reciprocal requirement upon it to consider or otherwise address these representations. And Donoghue makes it clear that the potential for court challenges would be greatly limited because the weight of the Voice's representations would be decided upon by Parliament. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has described criticisms of the proposal as absolute nonsense and complete falsehoods, and he's challenged the coalition to support the Voice. The advice from Donoghue makes it very clear that it is legally sound according to the Australian government. The coalition had long called for the government to release the advice given by Donoghue on the Voice. Opposition's leader Peter Dutton had claimed without evidence that the advice was against some of the text in the amendment. The document released to the inquiry was not the advice that went to the Cabinet and the referendum working group. It is dated 19th of April and was produced for the sole purpose of the inquiry. Donoghue's opinion states that the Voice would enhance Australia's system of government by helping to overcome barriers which have historically impeded Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples from effectively participating in decision-making which affects them. Albanese stated that the government would not be forced to implement the Voice's suggestions, and that it would have no veto power on decision-making. He also strongly disputed the typical criticism from Barnaby, Joyce and other opponents which says that recognising Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the Constitution would lead to Anzac Day being abolished. It is clear from the advice from Donoghue that the Aboriginal Voice to Parliament would be a positive addition to Australian government and help to bridge a long-entrenched power gap between Indigenous Australians and mainstream Australian politics. The government is now challenging the coalition to be a part of the process of constitutional reform. That brings us to the end of this video. We hope it has been informative, and that it encourages you to learn more about the proposed Aboriginal Voice to Parliament. Thanks for watching.